Hi everyone, this is Vitalik, and today we're gonna learn how to import bank statement to GnuCash. And my apology for a little bit of delay with videos. We have a new baby, so if you hear a weird sound, it's probably my daughter sleeping on my laps. Okay, without further ado, let's just jump back where we left off before. And my apologies, my screen looks a bit different from previous. I work a lot at night, so I've changed my GnuCash to the dark appearance. I have a GnuCash on the left, and what I brought you today is a bank statement from Bank of America. It is actually my bank statement, but I've asked Claude to anonymize everything, so funny enough, the Starbucks coffee became Beanstalk, and a lot of stuff anonymized away. But the numbers more or less are adding up, so we can do something with this. One thing to notice about this statement, it's just a typical Bank of America statement. If you use another bank, your statement will definitely look different. It will have different columns, it will have different headings, but GnuCash is flexible enough so you can basically import almost anything into GnuCash. Let's just inspect this statement. So what I have here is total credits, which is how much money I made this month, and total debits is how much money left this account. I would say don't worry about credits and debits, they are confusing. The important thing here is actually the beginning balance. This should match the book, so when you import your statement, it should actually have the same number there. Otherwise, the numbers will not add up. So let's just observe what's happening with our checking account. In our checking account, everything is 0. So how do we change it to the actual beginning balance? And there is a quick answer to this. Just go edit your account, set opening balance, and enter that number. 142.51. Tap OK. Now notice the total changed, and if you go into the account, you will observe that there is actually transaction, and this is absolutely normal. This is what's happening in a double entry world. Nothing comes out of nowhere and nothing leaves to the nowhere. So where this money came from is opening balance in equity. You can see this here, and I would say don't worry about this account. So in my personal book, I just have it pretty much like that, only the opening balance. This is basically your net worth when you opened your book. So for us, it's gonna be 142.51. Okay, now let's just import that statement. Go File, Import transactions from CSV. Just read this is something useful when you do it the first time. Then just select your file, and you present it with this screen. It's like a cockpit of the small airplane, but the good news is that you will not touch this too often. You will set it up once for your bank and will never change it again. So let's just do it. What you see here is basically your CSV file, the statement that you provided, and you can actually tap here and select the column to map. So this is date, and immediately we hit the error. So what's going on? Date is wrong. So this is the usual story for me. I usually hit this when I set up a new statement. So just change your date format to whatever is appropriate in your locale. Oops, this is not mine. Okay, now it's fine. At least majority of the records are fine. Let's just think, why would we need this in our GnuCash? It doesn't make sense. So let's just ignore those. So to ignore those, we can just hit this, and GnuCash will simply ignore those records. So as you see, it's just crossing out those leading lines and just skipping them. You can do the same for the trailing lines. So some of the banks doing totals at the end. So feel free just to skip those as well, because GnuCash will not understand them. Okay, so now let's move to the next column, which is description. So let's just select description. And right here we have an amount. So just select amount. Still we cannot move on. Next is disabled. And there is a little tip telling us to select account. In our case, we have only one account, so that you can actually select account here. As you remember, in our example, we have only one checking account. And next actually is enabled. Let's do one thing. Let's just inspect it last time and understand what's going on. Now, see, something is not adding up. This thing doesn't have amount. It has the running balance, but we don't use running balance. GnuCash can calculate it by itself. So something is wonky with this record, and actually this is just a Bank of America adding the extra transaction, which is not real transaction, just a starting balance. So what we need to do, we need to just ignore that extra transaction. Now, important thing here before we move on is make GnuCash to remember all these settings. So next time when we come back, we will not need to do it again and again. And to do that, just type something here. Like this. And just hit the save button. So next time when you come back to the import, you will be able to just click this drop down and select your settings. Okay, let's just click next. And there is some useful information. I'll just skip on that. This is a screen you're gonna be seeing a lot if you import in transactions a lot. And the important thing to understand here, it's usually it's not gonna look like this always, because GnuCash will learn what are your patterns and will automatically suggest where you spend this money, the accounts. So for my case and for your case, when you do it the first time, you'll need to do it manually. And to do it, double click every record and select the appropriate account. I just clicked the income, and the important thing here is just to select the income. Since it's not an expense, it's just an income account. Now here's what's going on. I've hit a transaction that I don't know what was that. It's pretty large transaction, and I don't know how to categorize that. It say that it's grocery, but likely it was something that we've bought, and unlikely this is a grocery. At this moment, I don't know what it is, and I would like to skip on that. So I will actually skip on that intentionally, and I will show you where it will fall down, so that next time you will be able to pick up on that and categorize that correctly. So I'll just close it here. Okay, I'm mostly done. There's just a couple transactions left, and I've intentionally left them uncategorized. I'll show you what will happen to them. So once you're done, it's just you can just click apply and then just click close. Congrats, all your transactions are in. You can click the account and observe that everything is there. And nice thing here is you can reconcile the running balance against your statement. My apologies for interruption. This is me from the future. I spotted an error, and my mistake is that when I specified opening balances, I actually forgot to specify the date of that transaction. So when you do it for yourself, don't forget to put the right post date. It is the date from your bank statement, the very first date, and you'll be good. Otherwise, you will end up in a situation like you're currently seeing right now when the opening balance is after all of the transactions. Sorry about that. So it went down to 0 for us. Let's just go down and see if the running balance is matching up. It is. So we can close our statement. Okay, now you can see all your spending in one place. All the balances are adding up to the statement. Now, what happened to those expenses that I didn't categorize? Notice that Jack and Jill are usually spending the money on groceries and household items, but something is off, and this something is called imbalance USD. If you're using GnuCash in your country, it is likely that you'll be seeing imbalance euro or your local currency. So what is that? Let's just go back to accounts, and this is something new that GnuCash added for us. We didn't ask for, but it is basically all the transactions that needs your attention. So if, for example, you forget to categorize something or miscategorize something or there is imbalance, it will end up in this account and you'll need to put attention because otherwise your books will not add up. This one was clearly a grocery, so let's just fix it. Just show splits. And instead of imbalance USD, actually select the category that you spend this on. Okay. Okay, it was just food and household. Hit enter and it will disappear. Now back to this large expense. I checked my records and it was tire change in the grocery store similar to Costco. So let's just see if we have a category for that. Yeah, it is transportation. Hit enter and you have nothing in imbalance. Now everything is balanced. You have a checking account which is balanced. Now you can see all the categories, all your spending on your categories. So now you can go in expenses and see the actual expenses that you've just did. So Jack and Jill are spending a lot of money on food and household. They spend some money on clothes and some money on the transportation. The important thing here to understand is this number will always go up. It's just total of the account. So for checking account, it makes sense because it will go up and down when you spend the money and will go up when you earn the money. Income will always go up because you earning the money from the income accounts and they are transferred to the checking accounts or whatever. Now for the expense account, it doesn't make too much sense to see the total number you've spent on the groceries, for example. What's nice in GnuCash, you can click this little combo box and select balance period. Now it will show you the running balance. So next month when we will come back to this book, we will not see the total, but we will rather see that month's expense, which is much more useful than seeing the total amount of expenses throughout the whole time. And this, my friends, concludes our today's presentation. One important thing not to forget is to hit save, and see you next time.